Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Adolescence, a channel about the lessons of adolescence. I am here with
The Amy Kim.
the Amy. Okay. What grade are you, Amy?
Grade 11.
Grade 11. So, Amy, you go to RA Mountain Secondary School as well as I do. Do you know what we're going to be talking about today?
I heard we were talking about relationships.
So, we will be diving into relationships, specifically high school relationships, just because it's so complex and there's so much to talk about. So, we're going to jump into it. I'm going to grab your phone to get the questions. Okay. So, we're going to first jump into just high school relationships in general and like how they affect us as people. So, the first question I have for you is, what are high school relationships to you? What do you think high school relationships are? What separates them from regular relationships, and why are they significant during this phase of life? That's a big question. You want me to go first? You want to go? Okay.
I think what separates high school relationships from just relationships out of high school context is that the fact that we spend most of our time at high schools, like most of the relationships or new people that we meet are all through high school because we're just so limited in other opportunities. So I feel like right now in present, like when you're actually in a high school relationships might feel like everything, and the people you're meeting just feel so big to you. You spend so much time with them because you're like forced to spend so much time with them. But however, if you actually come out to the society, I feel like you realize that like they're just, I don't want to say temporary, but like it gave you happiness and fulfilling whatever you needed at that time. And I think high school relationships are what fill those needs.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay.
I would say they're important like during this phase is because it's all new to us. Like everything we're doing, especially like it's our first time getting into intimate relationships, getting a boyfriend, getting a girlfriend. It's also our first time getting into a big friend group, getting into a small friend group. It's going to be our first time getting in fights with friends. It's going to be our first time losing friends, gaining friends. And I think it's so important because what happens now, what happens in this stage of our life, it creates the perception of relationships for us. For example, if I get in a really toxic relationship in 9th, 10th grade, that kind of shapes how I view relationships and how I approach relationships in that way. So that's why I think it's so important that you surround yourself with the right people, that you surround yourself with a crowd that cares about you, that you can trust. And yeah, I think that's why high school relationships are very, very important. Next question for you is, so obviously we're going to lean, for this question, it's leaning toward the friendship side of high school. So obviously we're surrounded by our friends, but what do you think is important in establishing a friendship with another person? So what do you think are some key things in what strengthens a friendship, what is really important throughout a friendship, and what you look for in a friendship?
I think trust is the biggest thing in a friendship because just everything is based on the standard of trust. If you're just, for example, like if you're just engaging in like a conversation with your friends, you become so limited to conversation topics if you can't trust the person. You can only access like shallow level conversations, but if you want to connect with them on a deeper level, you need to ensure that there's just a trust mutually so that you can just become more vulnerable with them and share and just builder like stronger connections. And not just that, I think trust just like opens up so many more doors for activities, like, and you feel more comfortable with them, and you just want to feel comfortable with friends, right? Like you have enough with that like teacher stuff, like you need to feel comfortable with your friends, and that's what friends get for you. So you need to trust them if you want to have a really good friendship, I think.
Yeah, like trust is huge. I think trust is number one. I think trust and communication, they kind of tie directly with each other, and I think they're both equally important. Just because communicating with your friends, letting them know what you need, what they need, and kind of matching that, and kind of feeding off each other's energy, and kind of being that supporting hand or that supporting shoulder someone can lean on. I think that's so important, and letting them know that you're there for them, I think, is also important. And for me personally, what I look for in a friend is not only someone that can provide me with laughs and provide me with good time, like temporary good times, but someone I can look for inspiration and motivation. For example, I'm gonna gas you guys up, but like my current friend group right now, you guys are always motivating me to be a better person. Shut up. But always motivating to be a better person and to work harder and kind of accomplish more of the things that I want to do. And I think if I surrounded myself with people that didn't necessarily do that, I'd lose self-esteem and I'd look down on myself as well. So
And kind of just this kind of branching off of that, I just really think also in friendships, it's really, really important to have the same dreams or similar like goals or endpoints of life, because if those don't meet with your friends, it's just really, really hard because you lack respect for them, and if they're not getting anywhere in life and you don't see, you can't like benefit off each other and then also motivate yourself to like push each other, like get out of their comfort zones if they're not working for the same thing you're working for, right? I'm not meaning like necessarily like same job or industry. It's just like that end point. Like for example, like it can be like settling down in a family or pursuing happiness, whatever it is. It's just the drive and like just common goal is really, really important in a friendship as well. Yeah, because in high school now you're like onto a new chapter of life after high school, right? So it's just really, really, yeah. So like people have varying like visions for their future, but I think that needs to be like kind of at the same page. Yeah.
Dan, you're good at talking. Okay. Good. Relating to friendship, relating to what we look for as friends, like what do you think we as people can do to be better friends? So what, as like you said, trust and communication. I think as much as we look for in a person, I think it's important to be a representation of what we look for, like the golden rule. Do to others how you would want them to do to you, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So like as a friend, what do you want to do for others? What do you think is important for people to do to others? And
I think reaching out and checking up on them is so important.
reach out to your friends.
Yes.
Guys, reach out.
to your
It's I
friends.
know it's like it's like an ego thing. You don't want to, and you're like, no, they will reach out to me. Trust me.
Yes.
Trust me. A
And they're
simple
also
text,
thinking the same thing.
a simple text, a simple call will change how people feel about you and what they feel. And yes,
It's
so yes,
it's
sorry.
so much.
Yes, reach out.
Yeah. Because I feel like also a lot of people think that like, oh, what if I reach out, like necessarily like reaching out and keeping in constant terms of like communication is not like a vital way to maintain a
Yeah.
friendship. But I think that's actually like so not true, because like it's just always like really, really, you need to know what's up with them and you need to know how they're feeling, and it's just the act of like showing that you care and appreciate for them is what really makes them like they'll be in awe, they'll be like very touched. And I know there's like people out there that like, you know, that like black cat energy, like they don't need to feed off that positive, you know, and like they don't need that constant validation, but like trust me, they do. And yeah, just
Good at hiding it.
yeah, they're good at hiding it than other people.
Okay, sorry, there were some slight technical difficulties, so we're gonna have to change up our camera setup, and we're gonna resume where we left off. Okay, so we're gonna shift away from the friendships. We're gonna shift away from the friendship side of the relationships, and we're gonna go into more of the intimate side of relationships. High school is unique because it's everyone's first time dating. It's everyone's first time meeting, talking to, interacting with the other gender, and I think sometimes that leads to, since it's the first time, it leads to a discrepancy or a miscommunication of what we're comfortable with, or what people in a couple or people in a relationship are uncomfortable with. So the question is, how can individuals establish and maintain healthy boundaries in relationships? So although it's very broad, I guess I'm asking you what your personal thoughts are, and like what you do personally to maintain that healthy boundary and that healthy line, and kind of communicate what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with, etc. Kind of ties into consent culture.
In specific to that, I think just a lot of other factors play into that. For example, like age gaps or like power imbalances, they all play into the fact of like being able to freely communicate and be yourself in front of your partner in an intimate relationship. And specifically in high school, age gaps just become so big to you because like there's only 4 different ages in high school, so you're so limited to that. So just even one age gap, like 1 year of difference, can feel so drastically different to you, and you can also change so much in 1 year. I think that's why it becomes so like prominent. But so that's why I think it's more and more crucial to establish that communication and make sure that those other like imbalances don't take over your relationship. And before that happens, you need to have a conversation comfortably at the start of the relationship so that you guys going on moving forward like benefit each other and also just positively impact each other, right? So yeah.
I think, like, speaking from a male perspective right now, as a male, I think I think sometimes as men, like, it's seen as unmasculine or uncool to ask. And I guess like as guys, the only way we can change that is to act on it. In that sense is like tying in with consent culture. I think in the way that society portrays females and men and whatever else, I think men are often seen as sorry, but men are often seen as the people that are in power of a relationship and kind of like the dominant one in the relationship. And as much as that is or how that is portrayed, like that can only change if we put in the effort to change it. Does that make sense? So what was I saying?
Male. And you need to act upon it.
No. Okay, I'm gonna restart. I'm gonna cut this. Okay. So okay, more technical difficulties. We're back though. Okay. Speaking from a male perspective, continuing on with the question. I think in the male perspective, it's sometimes unseen or like uncool or unmasculine to ask for permission, to ask to do stuff. And I think my only question or my only rebuttal to that is there's nothing more masculine and nothing more cool than gaining the respect of your partner or your lady or your woman.
Yes.
I think there's, I don't think there's anything cooler than that. And to establish that, I guess the biggest thing people get mixed up on is like they think whatever happened at first or whatever happened in the beginning of the relationship or even prior to the relationship is okay moving forward. And I think it's important to continuously build on that trust and that communication and to continuously ask. And it's never, never, never too late to ask. And I think that's the biggest thing in terms of a male perspective. Yes. That's what I think as well. Yes. We're going to move on. I'm sorry. Shibar. Okay. So we're going to so we talked about friendships. We talked about relationships. We're going to talk about what they teach us. So from these high school relationships, from all these experience and stuff, how can this help us moving forward? How can this help us with us and our personal growth? How do you think?
I think in a human, like just human growing up and going through different stages of life, the biggest thing that just builds upon that is experience. Experience is so crucial because based on the experiences you go through, it shapes you to what you are right now. So although if you are in really like poopy relationships right now and for example like your partner is controlling you, manipulating you, gaslighting you, you've been through that, so you know how it feels and you know how to prevent yourself and maybe like stand up for yourself in those situations if you're ever put in one in the future possibly, right? So it's kind of like seeing the light in very like negative situations as well. Like when you're in that situation you might not feel it, but looking back from the future you can say, oh, since I went through that, now like I also gained this and now I know this that maybe some people that don't know that didn't go through, right? This also goes the same way for positive experiences too, because you got treated the way that you wanted to be treated and maybe you didn't know that like this thing could bring out a positive aspect of you, and now you are educated on that part about yourself and can utilize that in the future, right? So I think that's just like, as high school is a really big part of like just maturing and growing up, experiences and just go out there and experience different relationships, friendships, and I think gaining something that is really important though, because if you don't gain anything from that, then all those negative and positive experiences just like go for nothing, I think. So yeah, I think that's it.
Damn, that was inspirational. It was inspirational. Like I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, or earlier in our discussion, like what happens now is what shapes how you view and approach things in the future. For example, if I get in a really toxic relationship when I'm 9th grade and it lasts all the way until I'm 12th grade, I graduate and I enter this into the real world and I'm entering and looking for new people. My perception of a relationship is going to be very toxic, and it's going to be a portrayal of what has happened to me, and that's how I'm going to approach it. And I think that's so dangerous because now you're kind of going through this path and going through these different experiences, not knowing how you should be felt, how you should be feeling, and how you should be treated, and thinking that some of the toxic bullshit, sorry for my language, happens to you is okay and is acceptable, and now you believe that this is what I deserve, like that very famous quote, like people accept the love they think they deserve. And I think that's so true because they don't know what true love is and what truly getting respected and truly people caring for you is. And I think that's why it's so important to form the correct relationships and surround yourself with the right people. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, wrap it up. We're gonna let's go through our top 3 biggest points. Top 3. So if someone just skipped through our entire podcast and they just skipped to the end, what are the 3 points you want them to know? So I'll start with what I think is the most important is reach out. Where's the camera? Reach out.
Say it. Reach out.
Now this comes with friendships. I want to look directly at the camera, okay? Because this comes with friendships and relationships, okay? I don't think there's a difference between the two. Like reaching out into yeah. Speaking from experience, nothing goes further than even a simple text, even a simple call, just being like, how are you? Checking in on someone. And I think like we're all so like surrounded by the fact like our egos and not wanting to reach out and expecting them to reach out to us first. It's like, why isn't he calling me? Like he knows I'm struggling. Why isn't he calling you? Sometimes it's like, I don't need to reach out to them. I don't need to check up on them. But trust me, for the grade 9s and 10s that think this is okay to not reach out or blah, blah, blah. A simple action like that can leave such a large impact on someone. So something so small can leave such a larger impact on another person or even yourself as well. So that's why I think it's so important just to reach out, to put your hands out, because you don't receive unless you ask. I think that's so important. But yes, for me, the most important thing is reach out.
Okay, so my second takeaway is probably surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
Good people that bring out the good of you, give you good energy, and spread positivity. It shapes you so much, more than you ever can think. If you look back in your past, like even like 2 years back from now on, I could have been a total different person if I did not surround myself with good people, like my friends right now.
Oh, we're good people.
Whereas also, like, if I maybe continue to be, like, surrounding myself with people that may possibly not have the same end goals as me or the dreams or also the drive, it becomes harder to spend time with them, and also just trust and conversations, like, your topics become very, very limited. And I think in high school, it's a time where you need to expand on that. Yes. So you need to meet the people that are willing to give you that opportunity to do that. So meet good people. Yes, and you know yourself who the good people are. You just need to make those judgment calls. So do that, please.
Yes. So reach out, surround yourself with good people. The third and final one for me is treat others how you would want to be treated. The golden rule. The golden rule. You want to be respected, respect others. You want to be treated with kindness, treat other people with kindness. You want to get loved, love. I think it's just common sense, really. Like, if you're a dick to everyone, you're going to be receiving that energy back. So, yes, treat others how you want to treat them. And, like, that could go in the littlest ways. And, like, connecting back to reach out, because I want to emphasize that so much. You will get reached out to if you reach out. No, because I just think that's so huge. And as someone that's been really upset when people don't reach out to me and going through like coronavirus and COVID and quarantine, like going through all that, just knowing, I don't want to get too personal, but like knowing how far a text goes or knowing how far that goes. I just want to emphasize that. But yes, so reach out, surround yourself with good people, and treat others how you would want to get treated, the way you would want to get treated already. We're going to wrap up. So thank you all for watching episode 3 of Adolescence. That was your host, Sam, and
Amy Kim.
And thank you all for watching. Thank you very much. Good job.